Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to another Industry Live, where we're staying in our lane and sharing knowledge from our personal experiences as well as our guests. So, thank you for joining us. I'm ThatKimberly, and I have with me today from Chicago.
Deborah DeRouen here.
Hey, Deb.
The big week for NAA.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Shout out to all those at NAA, the National Apartment Association.
Oh, that's
Conference
right.
and
Not
Expo.
everyone knows that. So yes, we need
Correct.
to be clear. We love our little acronyms in our industry, and people have no idea what we're talking about. So
we need to be clear, right?
Yes, we
Awesome.
definitely need to be clear. All right, who do we have up today, Kimberly? I'm excited about today's guest.
I'm excited. We have Elaine De Lude. She is the VP of Operations at LIVEbe. And I'm excited for her to share her story with us as it relates to startups and multifamily. She is on the property management side, so
this will be really great. I'm excited about this one. It's a different perspective. So
100%.
Absolutely.
And before we get into that, we definitely make sure that I don't forget to let everyone know that we are live wherever you're watching, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, right? I'm not forgetting anything there.
Nope, you got it.
Yeah. And we will answer questions. Deb's going to be helping me behind the scenes due to my internet connection. We want to make sure that we still are able to answer any questions, or there's really no delay in that sense.
Nope.
So leave them.
Interact, ask questions. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to answer all your questions. Make sure that you're getting the information that you want out of this as well.
Yes, absolutely. And if you watch on the replay, let us know where you watched from, hashtag, and put in the hashtag replay if you would. So I think that's everything, right, Deb?
Awesome. Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Well, we'll be bringing on Elaine.
All right.
Hi, Elaine.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Well, thank you for joining us. So just give folks a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. I've been in property management for, I'll just say, over 3 decades. Worked in a number of different positions within different property management companies. I've done the public side, the private side, and almost 5 years ago in November, I was approached by one of our clients to start up LIVEbe communities for them to manage their multifamily assets. So fast forward 5 years, here we are. We're still here, which I'm really excited about. And we're getting ready, as I mentioned, to celebrate our 5-year anniversary in November.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That is definitely a feat in itself.
Yeah, that we've made. I have some extra gray hairs.
Are you sure it's not a startup and COVID at the same time?
Yeah, could be.
Well, good job to you guys for getting that going and staying strong. And, like I said, it's definitely, no matter whether you're on the property management side, I've said, or you're a startup, in the world, they come with both their sets of experiences, right? That teach us. I don't even want to call them super challenges, but they're definitely experiences that teach us.
Yes. And you mentioned NAA. So my partner in crime, Jenny Rucker, who's our VP of Operations, is at NAA with her husband, Tom Rucker. So if you guys run into them, tell them I said hey.
Yeah. Shout out to Jenny and Tom.
Yep.
That's awesome. So let's get started with tell folks what, from a startup side, what a startup should expect coming into multifamily, because you spent a long time with a more established company, right, that had been around. It was a family owned, and you'd been there for well over 15 years, I'm assuming, and then you went to LIVEbe. So just speak to what startups could, how you interacted with startups when you were at the company that was a little bit more established, and what that looked like.
So really, anytime you onboard a new community, it's like a startup of a business. You're not starting from scratch like we did 5 years ago, but you are starting a new entity, a new business. So you have to make sure you're prepared. And, it doesn't matter if you have plan A, you need plan B and C, because you'll run into something. Even as takeovers, we had our checklist, we had meetings beforehand, and inevitably something, put, a kink in our process, and we're like, okay, we got to change that. And it could have been something as simple as like, hey, maybe the lease audit didn't reflect everything that was contributing to the performance of that community, or there were underlying issues with some mechanical systems that we didn't see at first glance. A ton of issues. Maybe there's a bunch of county outstanding deficiencies, that the county has on this community. You've got to clean all those up. So it didn't matter if you had plan A, just know that you need to plan B and C, and you needed to be flexible enough to maneuver through that. When we started the company, there was lots of people that said we weren't going to make it. There's a lot of people, as much as you want to think there's a lot of people in your corner, and there's lots of people that are like, yay, they want to celebrate success, and, see things through your lenses, and see that possibilities. There's some people that are going to meet you with some resistance. And as simple as, selecting a new provider for something, when you go to start vetting those out, what are your parameters that you need to work through, and like, what do they already know about your organization, or maybe they've heard about you or somebody else. And so again, just know that you're going to encounter preconceived notions, and not everybody wants you to succeed. So you have to really turn on the other side of that and keep that positive mindset every day.
Yeah.
And a lot of self-talk.
Yeah. And so you guys are dealing with a lot of things on an everyday basis. So those startups coming to you definitely need to be prepared for that, right? They need to get this is what I'm hearing you saying, that because you're onboarding new communities, a new business every single day, or not every single day, but sometimes they can be, sometimes it's monthly, sometimes it's yearly, but still you've got a list of so many other things going on in your lives, on a day-to-day basis, that if a business comes to you, they better know they better know their stuff, right?
Right. And it's not just us that's a startup management company. Even in my previous life, when in the fee management world, when you're taking on a new asset, that is a whole new business. So yeah, the foundation's set there, as opposed to when we started, we had to create everything
From
and
scratch.
so as people heard about our new business, they're like, oh, we want to sell you this, we want to sell you this. And we're like, no, we don't even have our foundation set to figure out like what we really need, So I think for startups, it's important to know what problem they're solving before they meet with a decision maker or people that are influencers for that decision. What problem are they trying to solve that's in our industry? Because just coming and saying, I have a great widget, doesn't really help us, especially for our size company, right? So we are very careful of who we partner with, and we truly see it as a partnership. But if it doesn't integrate with our property management software system, we don't have the resources to troubleshoot products daily, monthly, weekly. That's not going to be our thing. Their product has to be almost completely baked by the time it gets to us, because again, we don't have an IT group. We have third-party IT, but we don't have an in-house to say, hey, go in there and dig into this and see how it's working with our system. In addition,
you don't have the team of people like other companies may, as they've gotten larger, correct?
Right. I mean, it's Jenny, Shannon, and I wearing every single hat every day. So, we really try to minimize the pain that causes us and the on-site team, right? Because really, it's ultimately about how easy it is and how effective the product is, and how does it make their experience with us and our customers' experience with us better, right?
Yeah.
Because we're taking care of our employees and not having them jump through crazy hoops they're not as frustrated when that resident comes in to talk about whatever, or that prospect comes in to talk about, an apartment they're looking for. So again, just really making sure that those things are vetted as best we can. I will say, like, when there's a startup, from a tech perspective, there's lots of great resources out there too. And I encourage all startups to go to the NMHC website. There's a number of white papers and case studies, and guidelines.
That is the National National Multifamily Housing Council, for all those who may or may not know what NMHC is,
Right.
.org. But yes,
it's not only for the startups, it's for the people looking at the products too. So
yeah,
like if I'm the decision maker on a product, I could go to that white paper and say, did I ask all these right questions, right? Because the worst part is you don't want to get halfway down the road and decide, you know what, I don't even have the systems that can support this new technology. And now I'm in a contract with these people, and now what, right?
Yeah.
So looking at those resources is really important.
Yeah. And getting involved with your locals, or connecting and, and doing research in advance, so that you don't go in there blindsided, and maybe listening to, like you said, what every management company or owner is different, and their pain points are different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And I think that people take the macro, right? So I'm fresh out of school. I've got the best new widget, and I'm taking all this macroeconomic data, and I'm going to go tell this property management person what their world is like.
Yeah, that's not.
Doesn't really resonate with us. And that approach I've seen so many times with so many startups. Again, like, they don't understand the sales process. And some sales processes are extremely long. And, like you and I, we didn't do business together for 4 years. But like when I was able to do business with you, I knew who I was going to call. So,
yeah,
developing that trust and those relationships with these startups, I think, is really, really important, especially because it is a startup. It doesn't have the brand recognition. It doesn't have the reputation that, like, oh yeah, every year this XYZ company puts, millions of dollars into research and development, and their product's going to be better next year, and they're going to be able to keep up with everybody else in that marketplace. So again, developing those relationships and trust are so key, I think.
And educating at the same time, right? You're developing the relationship, and I met you through a local association, shout out PMA, as well as through another supplier partner that you had known for a very long time, that we were both friends with and connected through. And yeah, I didn't sell you anything. Well, actually, you were really honest, and you were like, hey, our portfolio, we really don't concentrate on that side of the business. Marketing dollars don't go there. But, when we have something, I'll let you know. Like, I was like, no problem. You didn't even say when we have, you just kind of just left it at that. And I learned, can you talk to like the line item? I didn't understand that there has to be a line item in your all's budget, and you guys pretty much stick to that, right? Unless there are some overages, if you will.
I wouldn't say that LIVEbe operates with that philosophy, but I will say that 99.9% of the companies operate by that philosophy, especially when you're in the fee management world. You have a budget, you have to stick to your budget. Yeah, there's things that happen in a market, and you make adjustments, and hopefully those compensate for any shifts that happen.
But they're like this.
Yeah, they're very small. When you look at our industry versus other industries, those types of budgets are very small. The biggest portion of our budgets typically go to our teams. So, we're heavy on the payroll side, and then the others get like little tiny pieces. But I'm fortunate that that's not our scenario now, that we really do things. We have a different philosophy. But yeah, that is important in understanding the timing of that, because some do fiscal years, some do calendar years.
Good point.
May even do both, because if you're a fee manager and you're managing for lots of clients, you may be on both calendars, which has happened to me in the past. So, you just have to
find out if it's fiscal or not, right? Or
right, and know when they start doing them. I mean, some started a month ago.
Yeah. budget
some
season.
won't start until October. So again, it's every company is different in that respect.
Yeah. So would you say that's why an owner or a management company would not do business with a startup, is because they're not technically, so would that be number one? They're not in the budget. And then what would be number two?
I don't know that not in the budget wouldn't be it. I think, looking at what is the solution they're providing a real issue that needs to be solved today, right? So like, there are lots of different solutions out there for lots of different things. And we are looking at having a no pet building, which I know is
what?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that's everybody's reaction. And so we may change. But think like there's no new buildings that have no pets. Now, how are we going to get over the service animals and things like that? There may be an opportunity for us to use a service that does some type of pet screening that prevents that place turning into another dog building, right? So again, like I didn't have a need for that before, but maybe
now
I have a need for that now. And not to say that it's not a good product. I'm saying like on my priority list, right? Like now it's a much higher priority because I have a different business that I'm looking and a different market that I'm looking to go after.
Yeah.
So again, my priorities shift on like what kind of technology or what kind of new tools I'm looking to solve. I mean, I think that, looking at how a startup is funded is important too. Like, do they have the resources and the capital to go the distance, right?
Are they going to be around?
Right?
Right. I always tell people that, the sales cycle is long in the multifamily, like a year was in the beginning for us, and then it went down to 6 months. And then I think the quickest contract I ever signed was probably 7 days. And but that was because someone else introduced me to this gentleman who was looking at that point in time, and we met the need, right? Like it was literally serendipitous. It just all came together. But everybody was always wondering, are we going to be around? And we raised money. I say, don't, 2 million is the bare minimum, but because you never know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to get hit by Katrina. You're like, when we started, Katrina hit and nobody thought they needed marketing in Texas. So it's definitely those things to think about.
Yeah. And I think don't discount, your early reputation too, as a startup. You need to make sure that, your people are putting the best foot forward and not rubbing people the wrong way. And that's a skill all by itself, because typically the person that developed the product is uber excited and can't understand why nobody else isn't as excited as they are. And it's not because we're not excited about the product. It's just that we have so many things on our to-do list and our wish list. And again, it has to be the right time with the right solution to deliver the right end result. And so when you look at that, you say, okay, does this make sense for what I'm trying to accomplish with my business?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I, like I said before, I think coming in with the macro intelligence in a micro environment is the wrong thing to do. And to your point earlier, do your homework about that company. Don't go in there and start asking them what their company's like and, what's your website and things.
Don't throw out other management companies' names immediately, unless they ask you. Was always like, don't compare them to others, because that's absolutely not. That could rub some people the wrong way really, really quickly.
Well, it's interesting because most people out of the gate will start name dropping the big players in the new startups. We have X player this, X player that. And you're like, okay, that's fine, but that's not really my business model. Yeah. So it's really irrelevant. And it really goes to what we teach our salespeople is really ask the questions to understand what you need to sell to them. So if they ask the question like, what are my 2 biggest pain points? What am I trying to solve for right now?
Yeah.
And could my product help them? And seeing if it's, like you said, I have a need. Are you providing me a solution? And is the timing right? So like if those 3 things happen, then you can usually make something work, even if it's not right away. Maybe it's a little bit down the road.
Yeah. And making sure, like you're saying, you listen for those things, that all those 3 things that you pointed out. It's very important for success in multifamily. Longevity, I should say.
Right.
Sure.
And I think everybody pitching a new product in multifamily should go on site for a day. Go shadow, because
That's good advice.
maybe what you're thinking you're trying to solve isn't necessary, but maybe you have another great idea that's a version of what you're trying to pitch that would take off.
Yeah.
So, I think it just depends on the people you have running your organization and the training you can provide to them. But I think really having that real life experience on site, a day in the life of a leasing ambassador or a community director, I'm sure that any company would be happy to have somebody tag along for the day to see what it's like.
For sure. I mean, I'm a double agent, renter and in multifamily. So my first company was solving a solution for me as the renter, so it made it easier. And I have definitely over the years found that if you're solving a solution for yourself, it usually there's hundreds, millions, there's other people that really need, that same solution because they're out there. Like, they say, give a business model to a woman. And if she sees it can succeed, because most females try to solve solutions based, for their needs. So I thought that was quite interesting. A book I read, I can't even tell you how long ago, but what was it like to be involved in a startup management company?
Super exciting. It was like, after having done this for so many years, it's like you get to write your own playbook. And honestly, that's what we call like our handbook is the playbook.
Yeah.
So, getting to decide like, hey, this worked really well here. This was terrible. I didn't like the way this worked.
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. Let's do this. I mean, uber exciting. We were fortunate that we had the support of the Berman family, and they were pretty much hands off with us and said, okay, go do your thing. And it's just exciting to have made it 5 years, because a lot of startups don't make it that long. And really to create a culture that we wanted. I mean, we just like any other startup pitching us products, we were pitching a product. Come work with us. Well, who are you? We had to tell the story. We had to try to explain to people in a very short window, or, whatever, canvas, of what it would be like to come work with us, because we were trying to solve for something, because we thought there was an opportunity to do something different. So we had to tell that story, and we had to create brand ambassadors and talk to people that were influencers and get involved and, locally and nationally. And just like, we just recently had the PMA lobster bake. Our team, we get branded shirts because we are a small company, right? But we wear.
You're always recruiting. You're always recruiting.
And we wear hot pink stuff. And even at this and this is how much I know it works, because at this last lobster bake, I had 2 different people bring up 2 different people to me and said, I love your company. I love everything I see your people doing, like being involved and like how they just operate and how you guys are on social and on your web. And I have this friend who I know would be the perfect fit for you. And I've been talking about your company, and they brought them to me. So
that's awesome.
That to me is like, yes, it
works. Yeah. Well, you guys did a campaign, you really put thought into the like unicorn wrangler, like that was your early on campaign to recruit, not just at an executive level, but, at the site level. Cause that's, I know that's your number one, if you can make their lives easier, you hire the right people for your residents, for your communities, then it makes you're all, working up, makes, corporate's life easier.
Right.
So can you talk to a little bit about how, why it is and how did that all come about?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like understanding whatever your competitive advantage is, right? So whether it be a product, a property management company, whatever it is, talking about that and telling that story. It's all about your brand and what you want to be known for. If you want to be known for an organization that cares about their people, and not just saying you care about your people, right? So we're almost 5 years in, and you could talk to any one of our people and talk to them about the different things we did during COVID to accommodate and make sure that everybody was okay. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was a lot in the very beginning because we were having daily calls. Anyway, I don't want to get into all that, but like talk about your story, talk about what's different about your organization. It's just like any sales. You know, when I was back in the day, before I was in property management, I was selling cellular phones. And back then they were $3,000 to $4,000 and they were installed in your car.
Wow.
And there were other companies that provided the service, but I knew when I went out there, we had the best installers in the whole DMV area. Like people bring their cars from all over, and I knew that. So that's what I sold. It wasn't the phone that I was selling or the service that they were on. I figured out what our competitive advantage was and said, look, you don't want some guy like drilling into your car and hit something they shouldn't hit, right? Like then people are like, oh yeah, like
no way, we don't want that. Yeah.
Right. But I think understanding what that is and telling that story is so important because people want to be part of something that feels good, that does something good for them, that provides them with a benefit, all those things that make people feel like this was time well spent, whether it be time well spent listening to a product, whether I decide to buy it or not today really isn't that important because maybe I built that relationship with that person, you know, so that down the road and, you know, people switch in this industry a lot. So they may be selling this today and tomorrow they're selling something else.
Yeah.
But you have that relationship with them. So they are quick to pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm here now. Let me tell you a little bit about this. I think that those relationships are so important. And trust and relationships, I think, for any startup company are going to be one of the most important things. And how those things relate to their brand story is really, really important.
Yeah, on both sides, on whether you're on the management side, you know, on site, your with your community, you're at corporate, as well as, you know, supplier. It is that trust and brand, and who's representing, you know, you. I feel that a lot of the shift has shifted more to the culture of whatever company you're with, and if they're doing something good, you know, no matter the generation, mostly it's the millennials and the Gen, you know, Ys and Zs that they want to feel like they're, you know, making an impact. I'll speak from the X generation, you know, we're 50-50 split, maybe, I don't know. Deb and I both are on the same side of that split, that we want to feel like we're making a difference and we want to feel like we're part of something.
Yeah. And I think it's to everybody. I mean, we have a huge age range and everybody wants to feel like they're an important part of something and that they give back. So when we do those types of things, we have no issues getting volunteers, people raising their hand to say, hey, let me lead that charge. So
that's awesome. That says a lot to not just the culture, but also those people behind the cult, you know, that are letting those butterflies come about, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
We have such a great team. We are very blessed in that way. Like, I feel like we definitely have people that truly believe that, you know, we're here every day to just be a little bit better, and whatever that means for you professionally, personally, that's all we're trying to do. Like, it's great because we make money, you know, doing it, but you know,
everybody's in business to make money. Let's not.
Right. I'm not discounting that. It's not a nonprofit, but I'm saying, like, you know, it's people have choices of where they can work and where they spend their time. So give them a reason for them to choose you. Again, whether you're a startup or established, it doesn't really matter.
100%. Well, Elaine, it's always great to chat with you. I always appreciate your perspective and point of view on just life in general.
Thank you.
Tell the audience a little bit about how they can connect with you, or if they want to learn more about LIVEbe.
So you can go to our website at livebe.com. You can email me at edelude@livebe.com. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. I'm also, like, if you have any interest about talking about associations too, I am the PMA president. I'm getting ready to finish up my term here, so I'm happy to pass the baton. But if anybody has any interest in learning how we made a huge change and learn how to, I hate using the word pivot, but it is the right word, like really change a lot of things fundamentally within our association to make things better for all of our members.
That's awesome. Well, I put up just, you know, I didn't know if you were going to give out your email address, but I'll include it in the links on the YouTube description, and anybody can reach out to us. But I did put up the LIVEbe website, and actually put that you could connect. They can connect with you on LinkedIn, but I'll share some of those other resources. But everybody knows that if you shouted out your email address, I'll definitely put that. I'll give it to them.
Good. I'm happy to help if I can, or redirect. If you have products you want to sell me, you can let me know what they are. I'll let you know. I'll be very honest with you, so you don't waste your time. And
yes, absolutely. It is that we appreciate that on the sales level for sure, because it is something that if you can have those conversations in advance and come back, you know, nobody wants their time wasted, right? So that's always
do your research, do your homework,
do your homework, do your research for sure. Well, Elaine, thank you so much. We want to, you know, be considerate of your time, so we appreciate you, and yeah, we'll be talking to you soon. Bye. Wow, Deb, she's back.
Well, hi, I'm back. That was
wrapping
really
it up.
great. And
Yeah.
I thank you, Elaine. That was very insightful. I always love to hear from someone with all of the knowledge and experience, and just someone from a positive culture standpoint and a company that cares about people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it is. She's definitely, I'm not biased, but maybe I am, but I've just known her a long time.
But you know, I can see why.
But she is who she says she is. So if you just ran into, if you would meet her, you know, somewhere randomly without me, it's like one of those people that you say, is she really who she is? And they meet her. Oh yeah, she is. So it's definitely great. So
and I mean, she drilled in on the relationship aspect of our business, which is so important. And I tell people, as a salesperson, I just can't be that hard, get in there and get a quick sell. I'm your girl if you want somebody to go build relationships, because that's what it takes in multifamily. So
and educating. I do appreciate that she brought up the research side of things, and understand that it is you know, find out what they need, what their pain points are, listen, don't look, you know, take the research at a macro level, but at a micro level, don't assume that everybody is the same, right? Like we're solving, we're doing our best, you know, so don't hammer, you know, management folks with stuff that they may or may not, you know, if you don't know, don't assume. So
there are resources out there to teach you, and there are people out there to mentor you. You don't have to be that person. So
for sure, 100%. Well, we do appreciate, thank you, Heather, for stopping by. I saw you put up her, hey, she's from out there in the Northeast area. And if anybody watches the replay, like we said, please feel free to put #replay. Let us know where you watch from. If you have a question, leave it in the comments. One of us will definitely get back to you. If you want to tag Elaine, do so, and she will get back to you. And while Deb looks, did I miss anything? I'm trying to look at next week's, who our next week guest is.
Don't know about that one yet.
Oh, I think it might be Cody.
Oh, good. Yay.
Cody Osterman. And if I got that incorrect, then it's Deb and I are going to pick the startup topic. We're going to go one way or the other. So. Right.
And then, as always, if there's anything that anyone wants to talk about, hear about, or learn more about, let us know. We want to talk about it. We want to stay in our multifamily lane and be a helpful resource for everybody.
Absolutely. You can email either one of us. Also, if you want to be on, or you know somebody that wants to be on, if this information today or any of our other live videos, you can just put in these hashtags within Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, or even the Googler, as a friend of mine's mom says. The past videos will come up, but share the video with someone that you know might need that information, because they're a startup coming into multifamily. So we want to be that resource for folks. Get those questions answered. Did I miss anything, Deb?
I think we've got it covered. I'm going to jet off to NAA. And get this party started in Chicago. So we will see everyone next week.
Okay, definitely. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, guys.